Welcome back. We are doing a resumption on the training. Okay, so for those of us who were in the previous training 2 minutes ago, we can resume. So we are covering on WizMind 3 cameras. So we are talking about functionalities for the WizMind 3. So all the WizMind 3 cameras can do SMD. They can do Smart H265. So the compression technology that we are talking about. So if you had joined us before on our previous trainings on DHSA VSS certification, we talked about the compression technologies. We talked about H264. Remember, we talked about the frames in a video, etc. So with 3, all cameras support perimeter protection. This one is just a generalization of the WizSense 3. So all WizSense 3 cameras can do what you can see on your screens. The SMD plus function is more of a classification between humans and other objects. So on the left side, you can see an alarm is triggered when the leaves are moving, whilst on the right side, the alarm gets only triggered when the human. So SMD plus is a very good technology when doing intrusion. So if you're doing intrusion settings on a client for perimeter protection, you need to have a camera which supports SMD plus. So SMD plus will help you to eliminate those false alarms created by animals like dogs, raccoons, etc. The functionality for the WizSense 3 camera perimeter protection. So we talked about what's perimeter protection. So in traditional in IVS system, the alarm will be in a traditional will have triggering of alarm with even small objects like spider for perimeter protection. But in a WizSense 3, you are doing perimeter protection with SMD plus enabled. So you see, with SMD plus, you can only do you can reduce the alarm rate to less than 1%. Those are very good good values. So we are done with WizSense camera. So again, for those of us maybe who have lost track, like what are we doing? What's going on? So we are doing a IPC introduction of Dahua products. So IP camera introduction. So we are taking this hierarchy whereby we have introduced what WizMind panoramic cameras are. We talked about this in our last training. We talked about special camera trainings, including the double-lensed one with special functions, the pinhole cameras, the corner cameras, and the cameras that can be installed on elevators. So we have talked about WizMind 7 just about 20 minutes ago. We've talked about WizMind 5. Now we have talked about the WizSense series camera. That is WizSense 3. Now next we're going to do the Lite, then we finish with the entry series camera. So as the hierarchy goes down like this, the pricing for the cameras reduces, the same with the AI functions. So for you to meet the basic functionalities of surveillance and meet that user requirement that needs maybe to do SMD, you can opt for WizSense 3 cameras because it's cheap, it's convenient. WizSense 3 or WizMind 5. So for project cases, you can do WizMind 7. So also again, considering based on what the customer requires. So the reason why we are talking about the the DHSA training is covering this aspect is because you just not get to be trained what camera does, but also to be trained on our products, so that maybe when you're doing suggestion to customer, you get to suggest a very good product, and at the end result on your side, you don't get a problem while doing configuration or while doing installation, and also to reduce our work. So tomorrow we'll also be having training. So for today, this is our second session and the last session for today. Then tomorrow we'll do another training at 11, so that we cover more ground on the theoretical part of it. Then the practical trainings will come later when we have done more ground on the training, on the theoretical part. So our Lite series cameras are cameras that you can see as 2. So if you have cameras numbered with the 2, those are the Lite series cameras. So those are the Lite series cameras. So if you see 3, those are WizSense 3 cameras. If you see 2, those are Lite series camera. So the 2 series, the 5 series, and 3 series, those are the majority of the series that are sold locally, and even the 1 series. So the 2, the Lite series. So the generalization functions for the series 2 cameras are below. So Starlight, remember we talked about Starlight, what Starlight is. So in case you don't know, you can review on our, I think, the second training. So all the videos are recorded, it's on YouTube. So the second training is has what Starlight is, what WDR is. We have H264, H265, the compression technologies here. We talked about what IVS is. So all these functions are supported by Series 2 camera. Also SD card support. So the typical usage for Series 2 cameras is restaurant, where you have just need to do basically basic surveillance, in buildings, in schools, in stations. So for the case where you can see for all these cases is more of in the public areas and outdoors. So now next we're going to do the entry series. So the entry series cameras are those cameras with 1. So you can see from the list below, the one numbering. So you can see most of them has these values T, Z, S, S4. So you can use the naming rule to know what function it is. So from the naming rule, just a recap, you can see from the naming rule here. So the IPC entry series is 1. So if you see 112, 2 means 2 megapixels, 5 means 5 megapixels, and etc. So if you have the function for T, the T functionality is about, is it IR bullet or IR eyeball? Then we have ZS. So you can see the ZS function is so ZS. If you see Z in a camera, that means the camera has motorized. It's a varifocal motorized zoom. Like you can control the lens zooming aspect from the NVR. So ZS. Then we have the S4. If you see the S, it means it has SD card. Then we have Z4. If you see Z4, it has 12 about optical zoom. This is just information that you can do a recap on the same and check on your time for you to grasp those little information. Because on the certification side, you'll be required maybe to do just how many megapixels is this camera, just identify the megapixels for the camera by just checking the name. So resume with the entry series. So the entry series. So the functions for the entry series, apart from being cost effective, you can have support for 2 and 4 megapixels. So I think that's the maximum. A good quality image. So you can see as we go down the hierarchy, the AI functions of the camera tend to decrease. So we are done with the entry series. We have full color camera series. So the full color camera series are camera series that it's an emerging trend in coloring in cameras. The same way you'd have color view in Hikvision, the same way we have full color series cameras in Dahua. So for full color series, we have WizMind 5 full color series with Sense 3, and entry series and Lite series with full color camera. So you can have a cheaper camera and it's full color at the same time, or you can have quite expensive camera and it's full color with better AI functions. So you just dare to decide your poison. So full color, so the easiest way to identify a full color series camera, it has number 9 on it. So in the WizSense 3, Lite, and entry. So for entry series, you can see you have this. If you see just this number 9, it's a full color number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. That's like in the naming rule. Yes, you'll just check it. You'll see the number 9 is indicated as a full color. Next, we'll also talk about the SD card. So also we have active deterrence series cameras. I don't think it's the scope. It's the scope for this certification, because for the active deterrence you typically have ASPV, like PV. You see just a PV, that's a active deterrence. For full color, if you see number 9 on the last numerical digit, that's a full color camera. In exception for WizMind 5, whereby it has taken a different turn. So, but generally, if you see number 9 in the WizSense 3 and entry and Lite cameras, it means it's a full color camera. Maybe you can see a demonstration on the screen on the same. You can zoom on your screens because they try to zoom it. So full color, you get to have full color both daytime and nighttime color pictures. Okay, can I resume? Oh, so the active deterrence series is sorry, it's a scope for this training. So active deterrence series, if you want to know active deterrence series, I think we talked about what active deterrence is. So active deterrence series are cameras that they have the alarms, like they have a speaker, and in case something intrusion occurs or an alarm occurs, it can create that noise, a lot of noise. So like it's active deterrence, deterring of prevention or handling of events before they occur or while they are occurring. So the easiest way to identify active deterrence camera, if you see just a PV at the end side, PV for the WizSense 3 and WizSense 5, that's an active deterrence camera. That's the easiest way to know what an active deterrence camera is. So for active deterrence camera, we don't have series 1 entry and Lite series cameras as active deterrence cameras. So demonstration for active deterrence and typical application is school, villa, warehouse, fire exit, etc. So the demonstration is below. And check, maybe you can zoom on your screens for the same. So it supports two-way talk where you can talk to the person and then receive them. Then you have warning lights. Another functionalities include you can customize the audio that's going to the camera. So we are done with the IPC products. So based on let me just share you with you. So from the list, you can see the scope that we need to cover. So we have done with the IPC products. It was quite large file. So the rest will be fast. So I hope that is there any question or any concern on the same? Maybe something is not clear. So if not, we resume with the PTZ products introduction. So we've talked about IPC. We're going to the PTZ products. So the scope of this training on PTZ is about knowing the PTZ features, etc., and the details. So remember when we're talking about entry Lite series, is the same way we entry the series of cameras in IPC products is the same way that we'll do series for products in the PTZ cameras. So PTZ pan tilt and zoom. So the naming rule for PTZ is from the screen. So unlike the way you'd see an IPC or HDW, etc. on camera, so for PTZ, they begin with SD, speed door in full. So you just see a PTZ, the camera with the SD,
Hello.
Or a name with SD, you just know that one. Then the first value and the letter, it will show which type of PTZ is it. Is it an outdoor? Is it how many inch outdoor or indoor? So for this case, 6A would be a 6-inch outdoor IR PTZ. So if you see a 5.2 indoor, so the structure. So we have PTZ in ceiling, hands, laser. So this is something that you can come and see later what they are. Also resolution. There is the optical zoom. So this value, optical zoom, because most of the people have realized that while purchasing PTZ, you are more focused on the optical zoom. So the value here will help you identify what optical zoom PTZ is. I also have PTZ with the network HDCVI PTZ, this one analog PTZ, or ones with AI functions. The video format. So the default is PAL. You remember when we were talking about video formats in our previous training, which video format we are using in Kenya? It's PAL because of the power frequency. Okay, this is something that maybe you can check on yourself later. So we'll begin with the WizMind series and WizSense series for PTZ. Then we resume. So for WizMind series PTZ, we have such PTZs. We have 8 megapixels. So maybe just for the scope, just know the naming rule. Okay, just understand this. These are how they look like, because even the grasping for the naming rule is quite. It's hard unless you are very sharp or a genius or know how to cram well. So we have this 10A. So from the naming rule, the 10A series is a 10-inch outdoor IR PTZ. So remember when you're talking about IR, what IR is? So it has an IR sensor. What you see from this side here, there are IR LED lights. So 10 series outdoor, 10-inch outdoor. Supports optical zoom up to 60 megapixels, smart wide elevation, etc. It's an IP67. So also one factor maybe you need to know. So conventionally PTZ you are powered using AC of 24 volts, but now you have an option for using more the recent cameras that we release as PTZ. You have the option of either powering them with the PoE. So you have the option of using a PoE with a normal standard PoE switch, or the option for the AC, sorry. So the option for the AC. So depending on which type of PTZ you are purchasing. So an optical zoom of 48 times will look like this. So this one is it's like S21. It's very good zooming. So also remember when what this feature is when you're talking about camera functions, whereby you have image being focused while zooming it. You can check on that. 8-inch outdoor. So if I'm not wrong, it's an 8-inch outdoor IR. So the numbering is not that quite hard. So 8-inch outdoor. So the functions. So the number of resolution. So if you're getting a PTZ with the 4K function, it just basically means the number of pixels are more in an image picture. Like you get to know about the detailed information. So 4K is basically 80 megapixels. HD is 2 MP. I think for this case, we just need to rush to this case. So you see image stabilization. A smart wiper. So we have PTZ that can do. So the 8-inch outdoor series and 10-inch outdoor series support the smart wiper technology. So WizMind, on the WizMind side, this one is an indoor. So dual lens PTZ camera, panoramic series. So there isn't much information to talk about in PTZ apart from the zooming and the stabilization and the and the function for perimeter protection. So maybe if you find something that you need to talk about in this PTZ, but if not, maybe you can resume and finish on this. So you see, this one is a very good example of having panoramic PTZ, panoramic and a PTZ. So in the case where you would have installation of a bullet and a PTZ camera, now you have a PTZ and a fixed lens. So you save on cost at the same time installation cases. This one you need 1 bracket, 2 brackets. This is a very good product for different sites. Okay, I need to talk about this auto tracking. So an auto tracking feature is a feature that that will do a follow up on an image. Sorry, a follow up on humans on a site on a preview on a surveillance region. So for this case, if you're doing auto tracking on a PTZ, so it will identify human and do a follow up on the same. So these are an auto tracking function in application. So also remember when we talked some time back, we talked about installation of a panoramic camera with a PTZ, whereby I think you remember, whereby we had a bus doing an IVS rule breaking. Then we had the PTZ. Now we try to focus on it and track it as it moves. So we also talked about this feature. So while doing camera features, whereby you have image focus remaining still while doing zoom. So you are zooming an image, but you are maintaining the focus. You don't lose the focus. So the PFA algorithm. So perimeter protection, the same way we'll have perimeter protection with the series 3 to 5 and 7 cameras, the same way perimeter protection that you'll do with the PTZ. Support, another functions for support for PTZ is about video metadata. So we also talk about this feature. FR. So this is this kind of PTZ that we're talking about, the WizMind one. So also you remember about 10 minutes in our previous training, we were talking about the WizMind series 7 cameras doing, all of them doing facial recognition. So the same way that you'll have WizMind series PTZ doing perimeter protection, doing video metadata and facial recognition. So FR is not only limited to cameras, to IPC products, but also to PTZ camera. So as ultra starlight, so you have the view side having better image appearance. So another feature for PTZ that is good is called optical defog. So the optical defog is a feature which means that you have a fog in a region, but the PTZ, what it will do, it will take the fog as noise. So it will it's like doing a WDR on a physical object, because the fog is physical. So optical defog will remove the fog on the region digitally. So the WizMind summary. So the functions for the WizMind series of PTZ include perimeter protection, video metadata, FR, facial detection, and SMD. So for the WizSense side, we have up to 45. You remember when you're talking about WizMind is up to 60. This one is up to 45 for the WizSense series. Model is So the typical application for the WizSense series is museum, company fence, library, residence, gallery, and a bank. So also we have noise elimination. So I'll just rush on this PTZ because I think maybe in the cases where I'm required to do a PTZ installation is more of projects, and for that case now we'll do a consultation with us in case where you have issues. So we have also PTZ for installation with solar. So with that, where we provide solar solutions with the PTZ installation. So this one is like a package installation site. So at least you know the products exist. Small body advanced functions. So other models for PTZ. So I think I'll rush on the same because the PTZ functions, unless you are doing projects where you can contact us, we do a product recommendation on the same. So I remember talking about SMD in our previous training. So I have many PTZs. Okay, so I think we'll for the cases about the functions like MWD, this is just information being repeated on our previous trainings. What you can do on PTZ, just know the naming rule, the basically the basic naming rule. Also functionalities like Wi-Fi functionalities. So this is something that I'll rush through. So the Lite series PTZ include such PTZs. I add this of up to 20 meters. So unless maybe you need me to cover detailed information on this PTZ information, I'll just skip on this. Maybe later we'll come and do a review on the same. So corrosion-proof PTZ installation in coastal sites. I think we'll end for this week's training. We'll later do a review on the same. So we'll later do a review on this PTZ training because I need to compile the SD means SD card. No. SD, I think you're joining us now. So SD is just a speed DOM. It means speed DOM. So if you see if cameras, IPC camera are named as IPC. So for PTZ cameras, you just find them as SD. So you can see here is SD. So we're going to end our today's training there. Then we'll have another training tomorrow at 11. So the trainings will be online. So the same way that you have joined our today's training, you will join tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll get to cover different information. You can tomorrow do thermal products, then we'll do accessory products introduction. Then we'll do NVR. I think we'll cover these 3. So tomorrow we'll have 2 sessions at 11. But for the case of today, we'll have to end there. For those of us who joined us, Thank you. I hope to see you tomorrow. Then by the end of it all, I hope all of you get to be certified for the DHSA WizSense certification. Another news, we have more team on our side now. Have more technicians in the office. Maybe in next week we'll do an introduction on the same, so you get to know them, you get to know their contacts. So in our next week's training, it will be a bit different. We'll get to know more team for the technical side in the Dahua, Kenya. So if there isn't any question, we meet tomorrow at 11. Any concern or any inquiry, anything else, you can reach out to me on the contacts in your screen. You can write an email, you can reach me in WhatsApp or call me. So if there's no any other question, I think we'll end this session. The videos are recorded and they'll be available online in YouTube. And apart from that, you can have a nice weekend.